I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government to really compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. Hello everyone, thanks for joining us on another episode of Property Doctor. In this program, we talk about the acquisition of properties, the maintenance and the management of properties generally. It's a right to be happy and to enjoy your buildings. It doesn't matter whether you are a property owner or a property user. You can connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube like you're doing right now at Property Doctor NG, and on Twitter at Property Doc NG. You need to know how to secure your buildings. You know, constructing buildings these days is very expensive. So the one you have, please maintain and manage it properly. I beg your pardon. This episode is not only for property owners, but for property users as well. You know, shelter is very important to man, and staying safe and secured is an important thing to look into whenever we are talking about our buildings. In our previous episode, we talked about securing our buildings during construction and even after construction. I'll leave the link below so that you can learn one or two things from strategic security in our sites, and the episode that talked about securing our buildings when we've started using the building. In this episode, we want to talk about the principles and the details of securing our buildings, laying emphasis on schools. We have an expert with us who will guide us into some important aspects and tips on how to interpret these actions and how to know the simple steps to take in securing our properties. Our guest today is Prince Felix Yoba. He's a security expert and is well informed and well trained. When I say well informed, I mean well informed. Is the managing director of Sky High Global Security and Tech. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
So we'll be discussing some details and principles on security. But first, let's talk about the types of equipment we need to secure our buildings. We want to lay emphasis on schools.
Thank you very much. It's unfortunate that there are attacks on schools. The insurgent sees it as a soft target because it will attract attention. You know, emotions will also be involved. Government will be concerned. Parents are worried. In fact, if in case an attack is on a school, and then some students are carried away, what will the parents do?
Yeah.
They cannot even go to work. So there will be economic loss. Everything is a big problem. So it's very important that both government and private school, managers give attention to securing schools, because these people have made a bold statement.
Yeah.
We are coming after you, schools.
What are the threats you're looking at on the schools?
Yeah, definitely. Before now, we were looking at just merely insurgents, where the insurgents want to make a statement so that government will give attention to them. But the dynamics, the modus operandi, everything has changed. It's now purely, kidnapping, adoption, and so on and so forth, asking for ransom. And then, most times, because they are now almost being decimated, they hardly could even find food. And some other items, you hear them telling parents, bring recharge card, give us food, bring drugs, and so on and so forth. So all of these things are really very terrible. So it's important to take care of schools. But it's unfortunate that schools in the local communities, they are not just taken care of at all. No security feature. In fact, the buildings are even dilapidated, not to talk of having a good fence And we are now even talking more of putting security systems in place. And
so the first thing
becomes their soft target.
Okay. So the first thing we should do in our school is to make sure they have a perimeter fence, right?
Very, very important. Okay. Solid perimeter fence, not the ones, because these insurgents, they come do their own survey. They already understand what is on ground, what is not on ground. If you have a weak fence, they will come with hammer, things, they will break it down and pass in. So it has to be solid. It has to be the right height. You know, in some government fairs, in some like FCT, they have their own standard that they have put in place. The front fence, 2 meters there, about the back fence, sometimes some people do 6 coaches, some do 9 coaches, but the height must be reasonable enough. And then after that, you must put perimeter intrusion detection system, so that any person who is coming must come through the right access, which is the main gate.
Okay, you said perimeter
intrusion
detection system
yes.
On the fence,
yes.
Not broken bottles, not iron spikes. We are talking about good systems that will work. But do you need power supply for this system to work?
Definitely, definitely.
But you know, our power supply in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, is not something that we can rely on.
Yeah.
Now, what other power supply source can we use to make sure that that supply is constant? Can we use solar?
Yeah, solar, definitely. Solar, it's available, you know, to come standing for that.
Yes.
Security equipments, most security equipments don't usually need too much of energy.
Okay.
So by the time you have a solar, you know, system, a simple solar system in place to carry them.
Yes.
You remember at one point when they wanted to put, you know, cameras around the whole of Abuja. Okay. They bought the ones that had, you know, features of solar. There were solar systems on top
of them.
Manage those cameras, and it could be on like that for years, 10, 20 and more years.
Okay, now you talked about the perimeter fence. What other thing is the first step to take? I mean, the next step to take when you're talking about
security? You have a very solid gate. Your gate to when you're putting a perimeter, solid gate that it will be difficult to break down or to even climb.
Sir, before the program you mentioned something about 4Ds AR. Can we replicate this when we're talking about the security in our schools?
Certainly true. When we're talking about 4D arrow, for simple, you know, for people to be able to understand and then can measure them and then can put them into practice step by step. First, we are talking about the first D is denial. The second D is deter. How do we deter these criminals?
Yes.
Then the next one is to delay. That is the third D.
Yes, the
and
delay.
The fourth one is to detect. Then the A there is to assess. And then the sixth one is arrow, which is response. So 4D AR. Yeah.
Can you quickly tell us, maybe in a minute, tell us what it is about denial and the deter? Just 1 minute so that it will save our time.
Okay. When we are talking about denial, many people don't believe that these criminals can come to them. So they are living in denial that they won't come. And certainly, sometimes they will come. And it becomes, the effect becomes devastating.
Yeah, because they denied.
Yes, because they live in denial that they won't come. And sometimes from religious ground they do so. But we know that these people are not respecters of religion or individuals.
Yeah.
So it's good to be security conscious. When you're security conscious, you won't live in denial. You know in case they come. So you prepare. You are prepared before they, you know.
So do not deny. Don't be in self-denial or denying that it's not going to happen. Just be prepared. The next one is deter.
Yeah. How do we deter criminals from coming? If you have a good team of policemen, well armed, and then they are there, then you also have your own security team who are also doing the interrogation. The police team there is not there to do interrogation or whatsoever. they are in strategic positions, so that they can monitor and they're ready for action in case there's an attack.
Okay, so we should have a system that can deter them from coming in.
Yes. This can deter them from coming in.
Okay.
Okay, and then when you do so, the next thing is to delay. What do you have? Do you have good fence, solid fence, with a perimeter intrusion system that can delay any intruder? If you don't have a fence, you don't have, an intrusion system, anybody can walk from any angle and enter. But now they'll be faced with coming through the gate.
Okay.
And when you have a solid gate, also, it becomes difficult. And then sometimes at the gate, you have different floor lights that would show who is coming in. It can snap picture, it can video, and all of that. Then have, that's, on that,
to
aspect.
Delay their activity or what they want to carry out.
Yes. So you also you have solid doors and windows and all of that.
So in a way to delay, you need to have good gates, good doors, and good lighting the environment, so that you have proper awareness. People are seeing what is happening, because most of the time these attacks occur at night. But when you have good lighting system, people are not confused. The children are not confused. They know where to run to. They know what is going on. They have an idea instead of walking in the dark. So the next D you are talking about?
The next D is we have talked about deter, we have talked about delay. So the next one is detect.
Detect.
Yeah, so how do we detect these criminals?
Yes.
Even before they come or after they'll come. So the surveillance system should be in place. We are talking about good cameras. Good quality cameras should be in place. Some of the cameras can see far.
Okay.
So when you have those ones for the external, you can see. If you have bushes around, cut the bushes around your school premises, your environment, so that you can see far. And the cameras will help you. So somebody must be there to monitor real time who is coming. Proper interrogations will be done with those who comes in to do things and all of that. And then you also not allow people coming in to say they are selling things around, because they're only observing and surveying the place and take the information to go and prepare and come in for an attack.
Okay. So we have to be security conscious, be aware of the people selling around you. You have to check a lot of things. Just be security conscious. Make our children know that they need to be security conscious. So sir, the next one you talked about was A.
So A is to assess. So sometimes when you are proactive, to prevent crime, they can still occur. When they occur, what steps have you put in place? What have you put in place that in case it occurs, you can bounce back to almost the position you were, so that you won't be completely, out of business. So if it's a school now, the school won't be closed down for too long. Students will not be able to come back again, and so on and so forth. So you'll be able to,
assess
everything assess whatever has happened, and then try to put things in place that can make you come back, almost immediately.
And to also prevent future attacks.
And to prevent future attack. Thank you.
Now, there's something else that you talked about, that is R.
Yeah. So the arrow has to do with response.
The response. Response of who? The children, teachers?
Everybody involved. Okay. The response of everybody involved. But first of all, it has to do with the security personnel.
All right.
The security personnel, must be able to have who they are going to call. If it's the police, do you have the police number already? Is not that time you're running helter-skelter to look for where is the divisional, it should be there where they can lay their hands on it almost immediately. The police division to also be aware that in case there is an attack, who is responsible on that end to lead the team immediately. So that the response time is very important. Most times we see that attacks may have taken place, and then, sometimes will come and then what has happened. But if the response is fast and on time, you'll be able to either stop some of the attacks, or, you'll be able to at least, delay their movement, so until other helps, can come.
Okay.
Then we are looking at having vigilantes
That is in the rural areas?
In the rural areas,
Okay.
having vigilantes. So the school can support, government can support the vigilantes. So they are around. So some of them are even positioned on the roads. So even if these people are passing through the bush paths, they know those bush paths. They can even monitor, even if they are carrying the children already, they will see where they are taking them to. They can give the right information to police who may go after them, and sometimes they will be able to reach out to them. And some of them are brave enough. Some, we call these hunters. They have a way of going about. They can also disrupt that attack. So it's also very important to have that. So we are not just talking of having equipment, put gadgets everywhere, and people will come and say, see gadget. The personnel need to be, on top of security.
Yeah.
Checking things well, those who are coming in with vehicles, those who are on their feet, those who are coming for whatever transaction must be well interrogated.
Okay.
Very, very important. The students themselves must be very security conscious, not loitering around. When they are supposed to be sleeping, everybody is sleeping, and then carry out drills. Those drills will help.
Security drills?
Security drills, yes. So the student will now be aware. In case these things happen, what are we supposed to do? Where should we gather? What should we do?
All right.
So, and also, who is the lead person who will make the calls? A mature person will make the calls to whosoever the calls are supposed to be made to. Right. It's unfortunate that...
And who will sound the alarm for everybody?
Definitely,
in the security drill?
Yes, the security personnel. The security personnel who is responsible for that. Yeah. Everybody will have a responsibility. Okay?
Yes.
When the students gather, definitely there will be a security personnel who will be there telling them to come, either to lie down, whatever to do. The man who puts the alarm, and then the person who makes the phone call.
Okay.
So that everything is done spontaneously in an organized manner. So that the response time can be faster, to be able to break, the security blockages and all the, threats of the insurgents that are coming in.
Okay. Thank you very much for being with us today in the studio, sir. And one last word to our viewers about security in our schools.
Definitely, we need to step up security in our schools. We can see that insurgency and kidnapping, adoption, on the increasing in geometrical progression. And then these people, because they are collecting ransom, they wouldn't want to stop. So we have to be a step ahead of them. Put security in schools, security equipment, right security personnel. Government should also, ensure that schools are monitored to ensure they put the right security things in place. Because some people just go and put a private school somewhere, collecting money, nothing, no security, nothing is there. They'll just come and carry innocent students. So government, we need to do something on that side. The community people, please organize vigilantes. See how you can support so that your children can go to school and then become something in the future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, viewers, for being with us on this program, Property Doctor. If you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you still waiting for? You need to know how to maintain your properties, because I know shelter is very important to you. Please click on the subscription button and also like this episode if you have enjoyed this episode that we talked about today. We hope to see you same time next week with another interesting person here with us, talking to us about something that is going to be very useful to you and will help you save your time, save money, and save lives. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless you. Bye.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs.